Well, here we are. We were supposed to have a strong debate. I defeated COVID. I beat the shit out of COVID. COVID said, "Sir, I can't take it anymore." And I said, "You're going to have to take it a little more, COVID." We beat it, but Sleepy Joe, who we're now calling Very Scared Joe, okay, was afraid. So he did a little town hall. He's doing a little town hall with probably nobody tomorrow. And I, on the other hand, are doing two town halls. I'm doing a powerful one tomorrow that's going to outrate him. And that's how we judge our great presidents. And more importantly, I think you're going to see probably the greatest thing you've ever seen, which is tonight's town hall, which is the uncensored. Tomorrow I have to be nice. I have to be nice. But tonight we're not going to be nice. The YouTube is a place for great content, snuff videos, murder, mayhem, and we're going to take it up a level with the greatest Q&A of all time. So I'm seeing we're already, well, okay, some nice, a good evening, Mr. President, sir. That's very nice. Sir, why are you so pale? It's because of the powerful ring light. It's called a ring light. I saw all the whores doing makeup do the ring light, so I got a ring light, and it totally makes me look not as vigorous and strong as I should. How is COVID Rudy doing? COVID Rudy is doing very powerfully. You know, let me tell you something with Rudy Giuliani, my great lawyer. The COVID got into his mouth, and that's why he keeps his bottom teeth. They look like, you know, broken porcelain covered in urine and feces. So he takes those teeth, and they fight the COVID. If you were a COVID, a little red COVID floating along, would you want to get in Rudy Giuliani's mouth? So I feel bad for COVID if it got in Rudy's mouth. Now we're gonna go. We got to do a scroll. We're already very powerful and popular. We answered about why I'm pale. I'm actually very healthy, strong looking, and not pale. Mr. President, what are your thoughts on Hunter Biden? Burisma. Burisma, it's probably the biggest international scandal we've ever had as a country. We're going to get to the bottom of Hunter Biden. We're going to find out why he got so much money from Russia. And he had no energy experience. He had no energy experience. The only person with less energy experience than Hunter Biden is Jeb Bush, who, as you know, is the lowest energy. So we're going to get into it very strongly. Am I sick? No, I'm not. In fact, I'm very powerful. COVID is sick now. I beat COVID. I think you should be worried about COVID. Did Rudy do a good job, sir? Well, you know what? He defeated the Russia hoax. So I think that's a pretty good job, even though it was kind of an easy job. I wish poor Barron a safe and speedy recovery, not so much for the Donald. I don't know who that is, but they're probably not as good as me. Did I beat COVID? I beat COVID. I've said that very strongly. How are Melania and Barron doing? Everybody's always asking me about Barron. Uh, my wife, Milk of Magnesia, is doing very good. Still, in fact, COVID, she lost a couple of pounds. She put on that, that White House 5, which I don't like. I told her you better lose those pounds. And like a miracle, like a beautiful miracle, COVID shows up. Boom, she lost 7 pounds. So let me tell you something. Melatonin is going to get some at some point because she's looking pretty good. She's looking like a 39-year-old now instead of a disgusting 50-year-old. How did I beat COVID? I beat COVID with sort of being great, and therapeutics. We had strong therapeutics and plasma. They threw everything at me, and I took it so strongly. It was like watching Roger Stone's wife at one of his birthday parties. I was taking everything, and I took it all. I successfully took it all. That's why we're going to name the course of treatment that I got at Willis Reed Hospital the Roger Stone gangbang treatment, because they give you so much, you take so much, and you end up feeling okay. I think that answered those questions. Sir, your bold flag pin is upside down. Chris Black, first of all, I'm saying your name because we're looking into you. We have a Black. Chris Black, look him up across the street. When you put the flag pin upside down, it's a strong sign of the great health of your nation. So I keep it upside down very powerfully because it's a sign of how strong we're doing as a country. And we've never done stronger. We're doing so strong. The flag pin's, as long as I'm in office, the flag pin stays upside down. Good evening. Do I still suggest the hydroxy? No, in fact, we're not suggesting hydroxychloroquine anymore. We're suggesting Hydrox cookies is now a new therapeutic, okay? Because they're kosher. And as you see in New York, there's been a very strong outbreak thanks to de Blasio and Angry Andrew in the Orthodox communities who love me, by the way, because I'm strong values and I love Israel. So there's been a breakout in the Orthodox communities. They're not allowed to eat non-kosher foods. Oreo cookies are not kosher. The famous Oreo cookies. I like double stuff because I feel like I'm taking, like I'm getting a great deal. Hydrox are kosher. So we are flooding the Orthodox communities with Hydrox cookies and some milk for our great dairy farmers. We're flooding the towns with Hydrox cookies. So they're going to take many Hydrox cookies and it's going to suppress the nasty invisible enemy. Will you be divorcing wife Melania after the election? No, I will definitely be staying happily married to a woman over the age of 50. That's totally my brand. So I will not be divorcing mesothelioma. Okay? So let's just get that clear. Total strong marriage. You see? Mr. Trump, sir, what are your goals for the third term? Well, you know what? Once Amy Coney Barrett gets on the court, we're probably going to have to carry it to through the third term. So we'll see what happens with that. Did melatonin visit me in the hospital? No, but I took melatonin. I took melatonin while I was there very strongly, and it helped. It helped. I got a little nap, took a little nap. And that's what I love about melatonin herself is that whenever she's with me, she takes a little nap. She just says, get it over, in her like silly accent. She says, get it over with, Donald. And I get it over with very strongly. Our numbers aren't as powerful this time because we're not doing this pre-fake debate. I thought the people would like a very powerful, uncensored Trump. We got a lot of questions. Oh, a lot of comments. Wow, the very active, very active. Oh, we got to go all the way up. I don't want to miss some of these questions. Very powerful questions. Sir, do you know who Barron is? No idea. Did you call Chris Christie during his hospital stay? No. Well, I called him a fat fuck, but I didn't call him on the phone. No, I didn't call. You know what our nickname for Christie is? Chris Christie, behind his back and to his fat face. Krispy Kreme. We call him Krispy Kreme because he's a big cream-filled donut. Can't believe, honestly, I give him credit. I didn't think a guy that short and fat could survive COVID, but he survived very powerfully. How did you beat COVID? A lot of people want to know how I beat COVID. I beat it by being very strong. How about that? Do I know who Barron is? That seems to be a common question. No idea. Sir, will you have the Lakers over at the White House? The Lakers and the NBA, we don't like the NBA. They're too political. They're called the Black Lives Matter League. And we're not having them over. We're definitely not having them over. LeBron James is he thinks he's Muhammad Ali, but he's really somebody that's not Muhammad Ali. Okay. We are inviting one Laker. Just one. Alex Caruso, a very nice young man that was on the Lakers team, hardworking player. Maybe not as athletic as the other guys. Doesn't appear in as many Roger Stone sex tapes kind of guy, but he's a great guy, and we look forward to he's going to have his pick of all the fast foods. We're going to get him a whole array of fast foods. So Alex Caruso of the Los Angeles Lakers is invited very strongly, and we're very proud to invite him. So he is welcome. One Laker, one Caucasian Laker. Where is Bill Barr? I think he's sumo wrestling with Krispy Kreme. That's my nickname for Chris Christie, for anybody who just joined the powerful conversation. Mr. Trump, sir. I like the sir. Sir, is Christie so big that he has 2 cases of the Rona? That's a good question. We're looking into it. I think he has one on each titty. We can call it Krispy Kreme, Christie titties. He's got one for each man boob. So we'll see about that. Is it true that a dose of Kimberly Guilfoyle's frightening plasma cured you, Mr. President, sir? I don't think it was her plasma, but I think it was Don't Tell Don Jr., but she's an ambitious woman, Kim Guilfoyle. She's a mess, but there's sort of an insane sexiness about her. She's not that pretty, but she's sort of, there's a passion and a sort of sexiness. And let's just say she's been having private meetings with me, okay? And let's say I've given her doses of Trump vaccine. I think we can say that. I think that's okay. It's not what she's been giving me. She's been getting a lot of Trump vaccine. Don't tell Don Jr., though. I want to tell him on his birthday. So don't tell him. I don't want to ruin the surprise. But I'm going to break it to him that I've been, patriot farming the fields of Kim Guilfoyle. So you know how that goes. Mr. Bigley, President, sir, will the village people perform to honor you at your inauguration? Actually, yes. And Vice President Mike Pence has actually ordered 2020 inauguration assless chaps. With, so they said that I think the leather daddy died of, the Tom Hanks Philadelphia cold. So I think Mike Pence is going to be the honorary leather daddy in the 2020 Trump village people. So I think that's shows great patriotism, and it's a great opportunity for a great Christian, very, flamboyant vice president, flamboyant for Christ. Sir, where's Bill Barr? I answered that very strongly. Do I still hope to jail Hillary? Oh, we're going to jail Hillary. Let me tell you something about Hillary Clinton, okay? Hillary is a crook. That's why they call her Crooked Hillary, okay? And she's got to be locked up. You go to my rallies, they want to lock her up. I don't know where that started, but our people are so, they want justice so strongly. They want such powerful justice that they're going to lock up Hillary, okay? And we're going to do it for them. Bill Barr, he's going to lock her up very powerfully. Mr. President, was your unmasking investigation total bunk? No, it's still going on. It's still going on. We're just looking for a replacement for Bill Barr to do a better investigation, a stronger investigation, to, realize that anytime something nasty happens to me, it's because it's wrong. It's totally wrong. It's totally wrong. Will I dance to Ice Cube's music tonight? I don't, gangsters don't dance, they boogie. I think that's actually something that Ice Cube said a long time ago. And I take that to heart. So I might boogie a little, but Ice Cube said it. Gangsters don't dance. And I am a gangster, and that's what we have in common. Okay. We're powerful gangsters. We're intimidating and tough. We both say the N-word a lot. And, we both haven't done anything relevant until I became president. We had a nice gap there. Ice Cube, he was in some comedies, family films, totally not on brand, but now he's lined himself up with the ultimate gangster. So much street cred for Ice Cube now that he's rolling. He used to be West Side Connection. Now he does this. He's rolling with Team T. That stands for Trump. Okay. Trump Side Connection. Look for the album. So no, but I won't be dancing to the Cube's music. Okay. Total no dancing. Sir, have Russian prostitutes ever given you makeup tips? No. And I don't give them tips. Okay. I say we're doing the base rate. No matter how good it was, I don't believe in tipping prostitutes. I occasionally have to bury them, but no tipping. Okay. You got to keep them respectful. Mr. President, sir, please do anything encore of your Macho Man dance. Well, I told there's two videos you should look at. Okay, I did a powerful announcement about Ice Cube on the J.O. Covan page, and last night it became a viral sensation. I introduced the Trump dance. Okay, you see me shaking it. That's not, I know I say I don't dance, but I had to. I was feeling the crowd. So sometimes the crowd and the steroids, they hit you at the same time, and you got to move. You got to move. You do the Melania. This is the Melania move. You meet two businessmen at one time, and go watch it. Go Google. We're on Google, sort of. Go Google Trump dance J.O. Covan, and you will see the greatest video I think that anybody's ever made. Biden keeps saying, I'm running for Senate. He doesn't know what he's doing, darling. He's out there going, I'm running for dog catcher. He doesn't want to be president. They're wheeling him in. AOC and 3, they're wheeling him in. They're going to put him in there, prop him up like Weekend at Biden's, and it's going to be a total disaster. Are you still devastated by the recent death of your brother, Randall? I didn't even know I had a brother. We'll have to look into that. Mr. President, sir, will there be a Fireside Craps 3? And if so, when will it be released? Thank you, sir. Well, that's a good point. There's a pinned message, okay, about my great album, Fireside Craps The Deuce, which came out earlier this year, that we're looking to get a Grammy. They never gave me the Emmy, but we're going to get a Grammy this year if you guys go buy it. Okay, it's sort of like a great history that I tell of my entire presidency. You get it, you boost it, and it's going to get a Grammy nomination. And I think that's so important because they always rob me of the Emmys. And you know what happened the last time I didn't win the Emmys? I ran for president. So if I don't get a Grammy nomination, I'm going to become president for life until people start giving me great awards. Strong and powerful awards. So there may be a Fireside Craps 3, but it's not if they don't show great respect to the Deuce. Barron just tested positive. I don't know who Barron is or what he tested positive for, but, I hope he's okay. And we'll see what happens. But, there's a lot of people testing positive, and if it's going away, it's going away so strongly. The fake news wants it to stay, but it's going away. It's going. The COVID's saying, I don't want any more Trump. Get me away from Trump. And you know what? It's happening. It's happening very quickly. Where did you learn your mad dance skills? You know what? It just, the same way I had an uncle who taught at MIT, and I just have the science knowledge in my system, very strong scientific knowledge. I think that's what happens with the dancing. You get out in front of there, you're in Florida or in Pennsylvania in front of a bunch of people, who fuck their cousins, drink bath salts, total losers, but they can give off such a animal energy that when you're out there, you just start going and you start jerking off the air because you're feeling so potent and so powerful. So that's what happened. It was strong energy. Nobody taught me how to dance. Those are all natural. I'm like, how Edward, what was his name? Reggie Van Halen, he passed away, the great guitar player. And he was self-taught. He just taught himself. And that's with me in dance. I just kind of taught myself, and I'm one of the greats. We're looking up strong questions. I don't know what just happened there. We're looking up strong questions. Well. Okay, we got a longtime fan asking a question. Am I planning on a song collaboration with Ice Cube with the Platinum Plan? That's a great question. We're thinking about doing it as a campaign fundraiser. Ice Cube and me, remember he did, we're thinking, he had a song, and I'm going to say a nasty word. It's called Fuck the Police. I didn't like that song. I didn't like it. And now we're going to do a duet, which is called Blue Lives Matter. And that's it. It's a total, in a show. If I can get Ice Cube, one of the great leaders in the black community, if I can get Ice Cube to say Blue Lives Matter, I think we're going to win over the entire African American community. I do. I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to win them very strongly and very powerfully because, Ice Cube is, I think, you know, some people say, as you know, he's a bigger leader in the black community than Barack Obama. I don't know if that's true, but I could see it being true. So I think once I get Ice Cube to release a new track called Blue Lives Matter, I think we're really going to score a tremendous upset with the African American community. Please dance for us. You got to go watch the Trump dance video, share it with everybody. Why hasn't the fly visited you yet? Why hasn't the fly visited? The fly knows not to mess with. See, Mike Pence is, a nice guy. And the fly landed in his head and was like, oh, this is a nice guy. This is Mike Pence. He's such a, look at this safe nest of white hair with Christian follicles. And the fly doesn't want anything to do with me, okay? The fly, believe me, it sees me and says, sir. The fly called me sir. It said, sir, I don't want to mess up your great hair, and I'm afraid you'd crush me with your very big hands, sir. And the fly was right. The fly knows I'm as powerful a Christian as there is. But I'm not a nice Christian like Pence. I'm a mean Christian, like a real Republican Christian. I'll kill creatures, force myself on women, and do a whole lot of terrible shit, as a Christian, but a powerful Christian, a Trump Christian. So why hasn't the fly visited you? I think that was a powerful answer. Happy belated to Tiffany Trump. Okay, good for her. She has my name, but hopefully nobody thinks she's related to me. Sir, why are you wearing the Keep America Great hat instead of the MAGA hat? Because we made America great. And then it got not great. So I wore the hat for a couple of weeks while we were fighting COVID. And then I beat the shit out of COVID in Willis Reed Hospital. I beat the crap out of it. You saw it right there. I beat the crap out of COVID. So now America's great again. And now we want to keep America great, meaning vote for me. If you elect Joe Biden, the NBA is going to move into your community and they're going to destroy it. And that's not so good. Somebody just said, Mr. President, sir. And I like, what? That's very nice. Will I concede if Biden wins? If a miracle happens, let's say a miracle happens and Sleepy Joe wins, fair and square in a way that I like, I'll concede very fast. But the fact is, in a poll that we took in the White House of my relatives, I'm polling at 85% among my family members. Okay, 85%. Nobody ever polls at 85%. Right now, only 15% of my family would vote for Biden. So I know when they talk, I need some more steroids. We put them into liquid form. So we got liquid steroids, clear plasma. We're going to be selling it at the Trump store. And if you don't believe I'm on the great steroids, look at this. One hand, not even my strong hand. So the fact is I'm winning 85% of my family in the polls. Nobody ever gets that. So yeah, Sleepy Joe could win, but does it seem like he's going to win if I'm polling at 85%? I don't think so. Dance, Trumpy. There's a lot of rude people demanding I dance, and I'm not going to dance for you. Some of these people ask the same questions. You're going to have to go back and watch. Okay. Am I divorcing melatonin? You got to go back and watch. And the answer is yes. Maybe. Maybe not. We'll see what happens. Mr. Trump, did you still crave KFC when you had the China bug, or did you crave, I don't know what that is, sui? Is that supposed to be sushi? I know that's Japanese. And I am not a great expert at the Asian peoples. Where's Big Gay Pence at? It's a great question. I think he's watching Bohemian Rhapsody again. He loves that movie. With the endorsement of Ice Cube, can the great MAGA people refer to ourselves as the lynch mob? That's a great question because, as you know, that was Ice Cube. Ice Cube was culturally appropriating. He was a co-creating. It's called cultural association. He was doing it, and they always complain when people like me do it, and we don't really do it. Ice Cube had his group was called the Lynch Mob, and I was like, "That's our thing. That's stealing our culture." So now we have a joint agreement with Ice Cube. We're forming the biracial lynch mob, where we will go after people who like Black Lives Matter. Okay, so it's we're bringing people together. Okay, not racist. Mr. President, sir, I've heard your IQ is higher than Einstein. Well, that's actually true. No, they didn't believe it when I took the IQ test. They didn't believe it. They said nobody's ever scored this high. Nobody. Excuse me. Believe me, even I thought, I know I'm smart, but I'm not that. Am I that smart? I'm that smart. The IQ test, okay, it was unbelievable. It was on a placemat at an Applebee's. And they gave me the crayons, okay, to fill it out. And I colored the crap out of that menu. And they looked at me and said, I don't believe this. You got a perfect score on all the coloring. That's called a perfect IQ test. Nobody had ever had a perfect IQ test. And the people at Applebee's, they gave me a free brownie sundae, okay? A free brownie sundae. You don't get that. Sleepy Joe doesn't get free brownie sundaes. So very strong IQ, very powerful. And we're going to the next question. And we're finally getting presidential numbers, finally. The late probably the African Americans showing up to YouTube late. Typical. Mr. President, sir, did Vlad and Kim Jong-un send you get well cards? They actually did. Thank you for that's a nice question. Vlad, he doesn't send sort of Hallmark. He calls them Whoremark. And you get 2 top-tier Russian prostitutes to Willis Reed. And they showed up. And let me tell you something. They might have been as critical to my improvement as the steroids. They're steroids for the groin, okay, these Russian prostitutes. So, like I said, here we have Hallmark, but Vlad Putin, he does it all the way. He has Hallmark, so he sends you a Hallmark, and it's I appreciate it. And Kim Jong-un, my great friend, such a talent. He actually sent me a woman that I had commented, how he liked Sarah Huckabee, and I said, take your eyes off of the great big Huck. Well, he's a huge fan of I got something in my eye. I don't know. It must be more hydroxy. And I noticed that there was a woman in North Korea. I said, she's very beautiful. And he said, she can be yours. And I said, wow, really? And he said, it will be a surprise. And I said, okay, I don't like surprises, but that's it. But on my second night at Willis Reed, dropped from the air in a nice package, just I thought it was like an Amazon Bezos drone, but it was a North Korea, and they were scared, the Secret Service said it's from North Korea. And I said, he's not dropping any chemical weapons on us. I know who that is. That's the prize I had my eye on. And out came that scared North Korean woman. And, she did her patriotic duty, and I appreciate it. So yes, to answer your question, Vlad, and in their own cultural way, Vlad and Kim both sent me powerful get well wishes, and I got well, as you can see. Better than you. Sir, can I be your first stalker? Well, we like, if you're hot, you can stalk. Jack off in the beanstalk. If you're hot, you can stalk. Sir, who does your eyebrows? Total me. Total all me. Would you rather Ivana or Ivanka? Well, I've already had Ivana, and let me tell you something. She has not aged well. She hasn't aged like I've aged like a fine wine. She's aged like a fine loaf of bread. Total mold. Whereas Ivanka, we've invested a lot. Okay. Ivanka is probably the property I'm most proud of. She's like the Trump blonde tower, and believe me, I want to occupy it. Okay, and I say that as a father, in a fatherly way. Okay, in a very, they call it paternal. It's called paternal. That's, fathers out there understand. If you're not, you don't get it. You don't get it. Will I go on Dancing with the Stars? I would consider it. I don't know how you get other stars on. I'm the biggest star in the world. Would you rather, sir? How many grown men cry before you? At this point, it's got to be millions. It's got to be millions, if not billions. It's so many. It's so many. If Mike Pence played football, would he be a tight end or a wide receiver? I tell you what, he'd be the end zone because everybody'd be going into it. So I think I beat your joke there, Mr. Tufts. Although I like that last name, Tufts. That's a strong, strong last name. Sir, if you're reelected, will you visit Afghanistan to thank the Taliban for their support? I will. I will give them a strong thank you because they've been powerful supporters. Very, they didn't support Obama because they know I'm tough. They know I'm tough. With Obama, they treated him like he was like, their tutor. He was like, who's this skinny? Look at the skinny, nerdy Muslim. Let's pick on him. With me, they say, who's this big, strong, handsome, powerful American man who sleeps with models? We're intimidated. We're so intimidated. Let's just endorse him. They're like COVID. The way COVID asked me to stop. COVID asked me to stop having it. It's, sir, please leave us alone, sir. That's what COVID said. And I said no. And I think the Taliban is the same. It's an enemy. Taliban's an enemy like COVID. But I defeat them so strongly, they become my friends. And I think that's a good thing. I think being friends with COVID and the Taliban are very, I would say, positive. I think you would say positive, just like being friends with Russia is a positive. Sir, will you consider becoming a comedian after your landslide loss in the upcoming election? Thank you, Mr. Sir. This is somebody with great respect. Everybody, okay, a little lesson for the chat people. Sir, Mr. President, sir, so that's 4 titles. Thank you, Mr. Sir. That's 6 titles in one question. I'm not answering any questions that don't have at least 6 honorary titles in them, okay? That's how we're going to weed out all the disrespectful people. You're a comedian, obviously, because I'm not losing to Sleepy Joe. And I think, how do I do comedy? How do I do comedy after I've, when you do perform for 80 million people on TV, what am I going to go to a comedy club and compete with Stormy Daniels' tits for $500 to sell some T-shirts? No, thank you. Sir, why don't you like dogs? Because they remind me of Rosie O'Donnell. How often do I talk to Putin? Twice a week. We have our scheduled calls, just 2 powerful leaders talking trash. Is Pence a pitcher or a catcher? I think that's a baseball reference, and I'll tell you right now, Mike Pence is neither. He's the dugout because there's 25 men inside him at all times. Don't ever try to out Mike Pence joke me, you sick sons of bitches in the chat. I will always defeat you with Mike Pence material. Have I patented the COVID smoke machine? I like that. That's somebody who's listening to the powerful podcast, Making Podcasts Great Again, which is, of course, as you know, the #1 podcast on all of the Apple tunes. And we're going to bust out the smoke machine at my next rally, the COVID smoke rally. The machine, it's going to be a machine with COVID. And that's how we're going to get powerful herd immunity. We're going to pour it on everybody. We're going to start in Florida. They're going to love it. They're just going to go, and they're going to take all that COVID, and they're going to live, and they're going to realize, everybody's going to realize how strong and powerful our Trump people are. So that's a great thing. Thank you for your question. Thank you. So many questions. A very active chat. A strong appreciation for the active chat, people. Sir, how much will I be charging for Cameo? I think we're going to start at $500 per Cameo. I think that's a fair price. If you want a message from the president, you got to pay. And then we're gonna talk to Cameo. We're gonna raise that. I think we're gonna end up doing like $2,500 cameos. You get a strong message from the president. That's you can't put a price on that. $2,500. My take on the Nobel. He misspelled it. The Nobel Peace Prize. It's actually the Nobel Peace Prize. Everybody who says Nobel, it's noble. It's supposed to be noble because it's a Nobel award. Remember, it started at Barnes and Noble, the book people. They wanted to make more money, so they started making peace medals. So they sold the peace medals, and they became the Nobel Peace Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize. And they gave it to the World Food Programme, which doesn't even know how to spell. Maybe maybe they're poor. They don't know how to spell program, so they spell it programme. And they feed people. It's okay. They feed people, and but they do a lot more than Obama. I can tell you that. That I can tell you. But a lot of people are saying that I feed even more people. Okay, I don't say that, but a lot of people are saying that I feed even more people than the programming, the World Food Programming. And you've seen how I feed people, and I'm not feeding little starving, skinny people. Okay, I don't go to Africa and say, "Here's a bowl of gruel because you haven't eaten in 2 days." I get big, strong foot. They come in, they have tears in their eyes, and they say, "Sir, thank you for all this beautiful fast food, sir." And I say, "Don't worry about it. But keep your distance, African American." But when the college teams come in, I give them banquets of food, and these are guys that can eat a lot more than starving third world people. Okay. So I like, World Food Programming. They're doing a lot more than Obama, but they haven't fed as many people as me. And I get the people I feed, they eat a lot. They eat so much. It's an unbelievable amount of food they eat. So, but that's okay. World Food Programming. They're nice. They're nice. They're respectful. I have no problem with them, but I feed a lot more people and I'm a lot better than them. Who's my favorite actor, Mr. Trump? Oh, well, it's John Voight. You know John Voight? He's a great actor and a great patriot. And I think he thinks I was sent here by God. So I don't know if anybody who's working with John Voight in Hollywood, but you might want to get an extra rider that says, like, I'm insured in case this guy goes David Koresh all of a sudden. Mr. Sir, how many woodchucks could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood, sir? Well, I'll tell you, all questions about wood go to Mike Pence. That guy is always thinking about wood. Mr. Trump, will you sell KKK hats on Etsy? I don't know who Etsy is, but, we'll see. How many men have played Eruption to BGMP this week? Okay, so Eruption is a guitar solo by Reggie Van Halen, the late great guitar player. I think I would have been, I never played guitar, but I think you all know I would have been so much better than Reggie Van Halen. He's lucky I didn't play. He's lucky. He's the lucky guy that I didn't play. But Eruption is Mike Pence does actually like Van Halen songs. His two favorite Van Halen songs are Eruption and Pound Cake. Mr. Trump, sir, do you prefer Ice Cube or Trump Ice? It's a tie. It's a tie. I love my African American ice cubes, and I love the Trump Ice. Sir, Mr. President, sir, tell us more about Jeffrey Epstein. Well, I call him Jeff Epstein. And he was a powerful friend of mine. He was a strong friend, a very loyal friend, and I miss him dearly. A tremendous love of life, a great mentor. Nobody ever talks about what a great mentor he was. I always thought he was sort of like the new Socrates. Remember or Socrates, as I think it's officially pronounced. Remember Socrates, the great Greek anal philosopher? He had all these boys, and he's this great philosopher and teacher, and he had all these boys. And I always looked at Jeff Epstein and I said, you're like the modern Socrates, but with women. And it's it's a shame nobody ever he was such a great mentor. Okay, such a great mentor, and we miss him. We miss him very powerfully, and I wish he was here to see my great presidency, because I think I would have made him even wealthier, and he could have had more parties and done more mentoring. There's a lot of young women in Florida who don't have that guidance that Jeff Epstein could provide, and they're just aimlessly going to school and after school programs and sports and spending time with their families, and that's time that could have been spent learning so much from Jeff Epstein. So it's a real loss to a lot of young people, and I think to our country. Our great country lost a true patriot when Jeff Epstein went away. So don't get me upset, though. You get me talking about the great Jeff Epstein, I get so upset. He's a great man. Whatever happened to my African American? That's a good question. Thank you for asking it. He showed up to another rally, and I didn't recognize him, and I had Secret Service attack him, and I don't know what happened after that. There were shots fired. There were, law enforcement was called. There was a lot of bad things that happened, and I almost felt bad about it because I didn't recognize him. But he didn't wear his Blacks for Trump shirt. He was just wearing regular clothing. And excuse me. If you come up to me and I don't know you and you're African American, it's a threat. It's called a threat. Whereas now, Kanye became my African American, and Kanye is very famous, so nobody, has a problem with him. And I hate to tell you, Kanye, you've been replaced. You've been replaced. Ice Cube is now the official African American of the Donald Trump presidency. And as Ice Cube would say, yay, yay. So we're very excited about that. Very powerful. Well, okay. So Jesus endorses Trump. That's great. I'm glad that we found that out on YouTube. Sir, do you think Karen Pence is hot? She's not my cup of tea. She's a little too religious. And I say this as the greatest Christian on the earth. Very humble Christian, but the greatest Christian. And I got to say that Karen Pence, underrated. Okay, don't tell BGMP that I said this, but Karen Pence is underrated. I think she was probably quite the looker. And Mike Pence is a handsome guy. When they were young, I bet they were having, I bet you he was just, giving that bed sheet between the two of them pearl necklaces all the time. I mean, they were probably having very strong evangelical love. But, now she's, what is she, in her late 50s? She's in her 50s. It's totally done. But, I think they're a good match. And I think, I did, proposition Karen Pence, not because I thought she was hot, but there was a time where we were thinking about replacing big gay Mike Pence with Nikki Haley on the ticket. And I was alone with Karen Pence, and I said to her, do you want Mike to stay on the ticket? And she said, oh, yes, sir. I want him very strongly, sir, to remain your vice president, sir. And I said, well, then you better get on your knees and start praying to a different kind of God. And she was a little startled, but I could see she had great love of Pence, great Mike Pence love. And she was willing to do it. And I stopped her and I said, get out of here. You're old and I don't like you, but it's good to know that I have that power over you. And if you ever say anything bad about me, I'm going to tell Mike Pence. I'm going to tell your husband that you almost defiled yourself trying to please the president. And I said, that's Mike Pence's job. Mr. President, are you willing to go on record and begin to take starting bids to pimp out melatonin if reelected to a second term? First of all, I'm going to get elected to a second term very strongly. And no, I would never, I'm a very progressive guy. People don't know this, but I'm very progressive. I don't pimp out melatonin. She is a sex worker. That's the term we use. She can do whatever she wants. She's allowed very much independence, which is why she has her own website. She has an OnlyFans page. She does escort work. She she is already she is a super PAC. She is a super PAC. It's called Melania's. It's called MOP. Melania's Open, and you can tell what the P stands for. PAC. Okay, it's a super PAC. Mop PAC. Take that. Nobody needs WAP. We got MOP. We got Melania's Open. You know what? And it's been making tremendous money. I mean, she's a little tired. I think that's how she got COVID. Let's be honest. If you're surrounded by 15 Italian businessmen in one hotel room, I think that it could be called a super spreader event on many levels. So I respect her sacrifice, and she's done a great job raising money. She's the best third lady I think we've ever had. I think we're gonna go maybe 10 more minutes. I think this is going very powerfully. Thank you for your great questions and the great respect. I'm looking for strong questions. Sir, you look like you lost about 60 pounds. What's your secret? Well, just, you know, going from an extra large to a large fries at McDonald's was, I think, probably the decision that changed my life. Am I voting for Trump? Of course I'm voting for Trump. I'm not a failed comedian. Failed comedians don't vote for Trump, but I vote for Trump. I'm definitely voting for Trump. Sir, is there an Ivanka sex tape? Sex tape is a disgusting term. There's no sex. When you're a beautiful woman like Ivanka, there's no sex tape. Okay? They're called home movies. They're called family home movies. And ever since I put in those secret, when she went to prom, I have a whole catalog. I'm actually going to be selling them. We've got several offers from Larry Flint, from Vivid, from Brazzers. They want that, but I'm only offering it as the whole catalog. It's sort of a life saga. Remember they did that movie, Boyhood? A very boring movie. They filmed it over like 20 years with Ethan Hawke. They did a whole movie with Ethan Hawke, and they filmed it in like 1995. It was so boring. And it was like, oh, good, they got older. Congratulations. Other than that, it's a totally normal movie. They had that crazy liberal Patricia Arquette, who, by the way, big breasts though. They had this boring movie, but I thought I could do that so much better. So it's called Ivankahood, and it starts from the hidden video I took when she, came home from prom, her senior year of high school, all the way up to last week. I filmed her and Jared, for security purposes. So we're selling the 480 video set to the highest bidder, the history of Ivankahood. So I think it's a beautiful idea. I think you get to see a young woman blossom. And so there's no sex tape though. That's a disgusting term, and it's not classy. It's not classy. We're classy. We're Trump. We stand for luxury, and class, and we're the best. I had to get my excuse. This is sort of the podcast intimate conversation was, but I felt like I had to practice my, sales voice. We're doing so great. And Ivankahood tape set will sell like 1 billion copies. Is Barron okay? Don't know. What do you plan to do with Kayleigh McEnany and Hope Hicks after the election? It's called a Trump sandwich. That's what we're planning on. And, Kayleigh, it's perfect because, the main attraction is Hope Hicks. And Kayleigh is just like she does as my press secretary. She'll be there to just sort of, do the dirty work. Wasn't that a song by Steele Dan? You like Steele Dan, right? Mike, you a big fan of Steele Dan? Isn't that one of the people? Oh, different Steele. Okay, well, Mike likes Steele. I know that. Okay. Oh, this is okay. Now we're talking. No, I don't have a Superman shirt on. That was total fake news. I have underoos. I have Superman underoos over my Depends. Okay, not a Superman t-shirt. Mexicans knocked over my kid's Kool-Aid stand in my suburb and put up a taco stand. What should I do? I promised the people another 5 minutes of Q&A, and I'm going to do that. I'm a man of my word. I keep strong word. But when I hear a story like this, we're going to send in the National Guard. We are sending in, when I get offline, please get your information to Kaylee McEnany. We are sending in the National Guard, and they are gonna is not gonna be pretty when that taco stand, those kids' taco stand is gonna go bye bye. Okay, and it's not gonna be pretty. And when you terrorize the suburbs, hurting up proud American lemonade stands, we're gonna come at you. We're gonna hit you so hard. We're gonna hit you like you've never been hit before, child running a taco stand. You are done. We're gonna get you. Obama never went after the taco stands, so totally weak. Well, I'm gonna hide this message. Somebody keeps asking somebody that I don't a dumb question that I don't need to see. So how about that? And you don't even know who you are. You're so weak. How much furniture are you taking when you leave the White House? We don't know that I'm leaving the White House, but if I leave the White House, I've already gotten in the Trump Hotel on the 10th floor is an entire suite of Russian prostitutes who've been doing nothing but eating fatty foods and not drinking water so that their urine is almost like orange Gatorade. Okay. And if I don't win, they're going to spend the 2 days before I leave the White House decorating. Okay. And not the kind of decorating you think. They're going to be spraying their high cholesterol, low hydration fluid all over the White House so that when Joe Biden, when Sleepy Joe and Sleepy Jill move in, they're not going to like it. How do I keep my hair golden? It's just powerful genetics. Great, powerful genetics. Do I have a crush on Obama? No crush. Pence does, but not me. It's always weird when you answer the question and they repost it. It makes you think they're bots, liberal bots. Sir, how do you continue to make melanoma scream in bed? Oh, it's very simple. I tell her that I'm ripping up the prenup and she's a screamer. I tell you, she's a total screamer. You never heard that kind of passion before. I tell you, you're not getting a thing, and she loses it. What did I think of Bill Burr's monologue on SNL? I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay because he offended many people. And you know who is complaining the most? The liberals, the PC libs. We're going to take two questions. We got two more questions, two more powerful questions. And this is when everybody starts ramming in questions, and it's a total disgrace. Sir, are you having an. Oh, well, it's. Do I think the Pences would be good with a three-way? Well, the problem is, would Mike ever do anything with Mother? I don't know. It's tough. How many times did I eat McDonald's last week? Only 9 times. I was way below my average. Only 9 times. We're gonna go full 21 meals this week to make up for it. And here come all the questions. What do I think of all the fake boxes set up by the GOP in California? I think it's strong. It's strong technique. I respect it totally. In fact, I told them to do it. I said, do it. I said, do it, and they did it. They did it so strongly, and I think it's a great thing. If California's too stupid to put their thing in the right box, then they deserve to lose. They're a total failed state. They're practically communists. The Gavin Newsom, He's nice. I like to say he's nice because it makes Don Jr. crazy when I'm saying, his girlfriend's handsome ex-husband. Don Jr. wishes he was Gavin Newsom. It's so pathetic. Am I better than God? No, I'd say we're equal. I think I'll be humble. Final question. I know everybody's excited. I'm going to do this one. Will Space Force build a Trump hotel in space or on the moon? We're going to do both. We're going to do both. And the great thing is, I think Space Force in space is going to be a great thing for older women who we normally don't like. Because with no gravity, the breasts, they're just going to float up and nobody's going to need powerful plastic surgery. It's one of the great things about Space Force is that, they used to say in space, no one can hear you scream. But my phrase is going to be in space, no one needs a bra. And it's going to be beautiful. So I want to thank you all for joining. This has been and tomorrow is not going to be nearly as great as this one. Okay, this debate Q&A town hall, you're going to get me I'm going to be very presidential and nice, and Sleepy Joe will put everybody to sleep. But tonight was the great one. So please, if you're not already, check out my weekly podcast, Making Podcasts Great Again. Okay, the weekly podcast, Spotify and Apple. And of course, because your president wants to win that Grammy, want to win a Grammy, you got to check out Stream or Buy Fireside Craps the Deuce, my great #1 album from 2020, available on Amazon and iTunes. And now that I've done such shameless plugging, thank you everybody for joining me, and have a nice night, and vote Biden.